Hi everyone, it's Dorcas and welcome back to my channel. And with 2026 upon us, I wanted to show you my planner lineup. I just posted my setup of the Chronicle planner, the A5 and the B6, and just kind of my whole thought process in setting those two books up. But I wanted to also show you the other notebooks that I'm going to be having in my 2026 lineup slash kind of organization system. Some people call it a techokaigi, which literally means notebook meeting, and it's just kind of a time to reflect on what has worked this past year and any changes that you want to make for the upcoming year when it comes to your planners and notebooks. Not all of these are going to be updated on the regular. Those will be my Chronicle planners, but there are others that I'll be popping into fairly regularly, some less often than others. So why don't we get into it and I can show you what I have lined up for next year. So to start, I'm going to go with the obvious, which is the Faded Chronicle planners. I have my B6 and I have my A5 notebooks. And these are both housed in a Catspresso Co. plastic cover. The B6 will remain like this, but the A5 also has a Moterm cover on top of that. I want to keep the A5 primarily at home because it's a much bulkier book. And so I don't mind that it's a nice white cover. I'm usually pretty good with keeping my things clean, but the B6 is going to be out and about. So I wanted to, have a slimmer profile for that. But I do have this simply gilded pouch that I can put that into if I want to carry other things with it. There's this Haramaki little planner cover that I can slip this into, and then it can house some pens, other little tools. I've had this little cardboard folder where I can put stickers, and then I kind of slip this whole planner inside here. Let's see. The tabs sometimes get a little caught, but if I wanted just a very simple, minimal cover situation, I can just put this in here. And this was a gift from a friend earlier this year. It looks so cozy. So the cover is going to, primarily stay here at home unless I'm going to, say, a planner meetup. And just to a really quick overview, the B6 is my kind of toss around, play around planner. It's going to be functional, but I will have some, deco and cute things in there. I have no idea what I'm going to do with these goal pages because that's going to live in my A5. I have my this yearly overview or yearly tracker. I'm going to use it to track how much money I spend on the daily, just so that I can see my habits and try and curtail, especially when it comes to stationery purchases. No idea what I'm going to do here. In the A5, it's going to be a line a day. And then here is going to be very functional. I'm just going to plan things out, put in when things are due, deadlines. Here I'm going to use it for tasks, to-do lists. When I have time off, I have to figure out what trackers I'm going to do here. It really might be a duplicate of the A5. We'll see. So that is the A5, the B6. The vertical weeklies, so let me just, the vertical weekly, and I'm filming this, a couple days before New Year's Eve, so I haven't set up the very first week. So this starts on the 29th, so I'll have to do that soon. And this will be more time blocking. The A5 has more space, so I'm going to do memory keeping on that one. So that is a really brief fly through my B6 planner. Has some little stickers back there, things that I might need on the go. So I have my B6 Chronicle planner. This is my A5, which is my main squeeze. And I have some fun little things, deco stickers, washi cards. My date stickers are all tucked back here for my daily journaling. In here, I've tucked in a ruler there for now. I have a Coffee Monsters Co. plastic envelope with some other stickers for decorating and just other kind of planning things out. And then I also have some washi cards way in there. So I have some washi cards there. And it's a little pinky elephant charm. Inside, and this is, if you're curious, this pin is from Every Minute a Story, and this is from Coffee Monster. Inside, I have more stickers and deco, little adhesive pockets, some more stickers. This I'm using to track out, social events, medical appointments, time off, vacation, trips that I have to take, etc. So just kind of like, it's nice to see it at a glance, especially since the monthly calendars are stacked. So they're kind of grouped with the weekly pages. So I won't be able to kind of flip easily to see all the months back to back. I've got my quarterly, my quarter one goals set out. I have to still think of what curriculum I want for myself, on what I want to learn, how I want to better myself, things I want to read, listen to. That'll go here. And then the habits or the tasks that I want to be mindful of that call back to these goals are all here. Then we go into January, which I've decorated the opener with Coffee Monsters Co. 2026 kit. This will be a line a day. I haven't decided what I'm going to do here, if it's going to be a monthly recap or some other thing. My calendar has the icons of when things are due, when payday happens, when I have medical appointments, and then also holidays, and I have to go in and add birthdays. I started putting in some weekly habit trackers, so things that I want to do every day, whereas the ones that are in my quarterly goal pages are not necessarily things I want to do every day, but maybe twice a day or a few times a month. So this will, help me see how I'm doing on those things, because, putting them here won't make sense because it might be blank that week. This will be memory keeping, much like I do now. I'm going to use stickers, hand lettering, just things that I actually want to remember, because I don't necessarily want to remember that I had 3 meetings in one day. I want to know, like, well, what were the things that maybe brought a smile to my face, or maybe were devastating. Like, I want to be able to flip through and really easily see, okay, that's a major thing that happened this week. And so then I find that when I look back at my journals, those are the things that I want to see, not necessarily that I had a 3 o'clock appointment. So I did that for all the months. Back here, where I'm going to be doing my journaling, I've already set it up with January and then Thursday, January 1st. And so I'll write as much as I want to, or doodle, add in, deco, or if I get some fun mail, I might add that sticker. And then wherever that ends, I'll put in the next date and continue on, just like I've been doing the last few years. And it's worked great for me, because I never feel obligated to fill a whole page or even half a page. It just kind of goes with my mood for that day. Have my pen test contact list. I don't know that I'll use this. Sticky notes, more stickers. I'll use these to mark out how I'm feeling. So I forgot to mention in the weekly pages, I will be putting in how I feel at the beginning of the day and then possibly how I'm feeling at the end of the day. So this is a blank one. So at the top, I'll put in how I'm feeling at the beginning of the day, and at the bottom, I'll put in how I'm feeling at the beginning and then feeling at the end, maybe. Whereas in this horizontal weekly, at the top, I'll put in the weather, and then at the bottom half of that same box, I'll put in my dinner, my meal plan. A little A5 folder plus stickers to have on the go. A little note there, and then some more washi. And that's pretty much my A5 Chronicle planner setup. It's already starting pretty chunky, but I'm really happy with it, and I'm excited to move into this one, so much so that I've been neglecting my 2025 planner. Poor thing, I haven't updated that in a couple of weeks. Telling myself that it's because the holidays have been a little nuts with work and hosting my family and preparing for all of that. So I need to kind of update that because I still have a couple of weeks to redeem myself, or a couple of days to redeem myself. So those are my Chronicle planners. Next is another planner that I've had for a couple of years now, or maybe a year and a half. And as much as I want to love it and I want to use it and I keep setting it up because it's so darn cute, I keep neglecting it. And I'm hoping that in 2026, I can give it a little more attention because it really is so cute and portable. And I'm talking about my Passport TN in the camel cover. It's my only Passport TN. I have a regular size that, I mean, it's also there. It was my first TN back in 2017. Yeah, 2017. This one I got at Yoseka Stationery Fest, and it is so cute. I've had it set up as a wallet, like an everyday carry. It used to be much more chunky than this when I set it up for 2025. I just got this little brass ballpoint pen from High Tide, and I have these little charms from Coffee Monster and Every Minute a Story. Either Every Minute a Story or Subtle Dreams. It might have been Subtle Dreams. They're sister shops. So I have this little clip from TCMC. And inside, before I had like sterling ink booklets with the monthly calendars and weekly horizontal, and I think even the vertical, but they were so tiny it was just really hard to use. I did get them on crazy sale because I got like the previous year and I just redated the whole thing, but I still never even used it. So at the very beginning, I have this plastic folder, and I have this little laminated die cut that I've put in for decoration. And then I have these empty washi cards so that, you know, the idea is if I'm with planner friends, I can swatch their washi or just carry some for on the go. This is a blank notebook from Sterling Ink, a blank booklet. It is numbered, and I did use maybe just like a couple pages, but the rest of it is blank. So I'm going to keep it here for notes on the go. The paper is really nice. I have this calendar card from 2025, but serves as a pencil board, just something to lean up against. Some little sticky notes. The other part of this plastic folder, I used to have little die cuts and other loose sticker flakes, but I can use it to house other receipts, things like that. Again, it is kind of set up as a wallet, so I have a wallet insert in the back here. This is another blank notebook, so this one doesn't have any grids or anything, and the idea was that I could use it for sketching. So my thought behind this Passport TN is that it would serve as a way of me not having to stare at my phone whenever I am out and about and commuting, that I can use this book to entertain myself. So I have this blank book to maybe sketch out ideas, doodle. So I have this sticker right here. And this is from Traveler's Company, a notebook. In here is watercolor paper. So this is a thicker paper that I can use, say, if I'm at a coffee shop or I'm with friends and there is some time to be creative. And instead of scrolling on Instagram or watching YouTube videos, I can just kind of get in there. And you might be wondering, well, how are you going to watercolor there? Well, in this canvas wallet, in the back here, we'll go all the way here, I have this Traveler's Company's travel palette. So this was done in collaboration with Art Toolkit, and it's a travel and sketch. Yeah, so it says Art Toolkit here. And it's a little travel palette. So there's some mixing space here and here. I still have 2 more slots for paints. And the idea is, I can kind of take this out and sketch or paint on this paper. I do have a water brush that I can just insert with whatever pencil pouch or pen case I bring along. And that just kind of stays in there and it fits perfectly. And there's a larger size as well, but this obviously is the one that fits perfectly in here. In here, I, was keeping some cash and then credit cards back here. But right now I just have double-sided tape from Hobonichi. Here I have a craft envelope with some stamps, blotting paper, if I use fountain pens in my notebook, but I'll probably stay with this ballpoint because it's way more travel friendly, and because it's such a small space, it might get a little annoying to write on there with a fountain pen. Some more stickers, some pictures. I have a little adhesive pocket in case I want to store more things. And that's pretty much my Traveler's Company TN. I mean, again, it's pretty chunky, but it was so much more chunky when I had it set up for this year, and maybe that's why I didn't use it. I don't know. It's very small space, and obviously, I keep saying it time again that I'm an A5 girly. I love my space. I love spreading out. I don't care if it's more space than I'll need. But this is very cute, and I do want to try and carry it around and keep it on hand. I don't know if I'll always roam around with these 2 situations, but they look great together, don't you think? They're adorable. So that is my Passport TN. Next are some notebooks that I'll be dipping in and out of as needed. They won't be, on a daily or even weekly basis. Starting with my Commonplace Notebook, and this is a Hobonichi plain notebook. I forgot the name of this cover design, but I've had this for a while. When did I start this and abandoned it? July 2021. But that's because I was starting a Commonplace in a different notebook, and some of those notes were from July 2021. It's not that I started in here at that time. I just transferred that stuff over at some point. But this is my Commonplace book, and it just holds quotes, just kind of new words, new vocabulary, poems. It does not go far at all. This is as far as I've gotten. But I want to maintain this, especially if I'm going to focus on just learning again. I miss just educating myself on things, and not just learning and reading and educating myself, but actually capturing the stuff that I learn, because I read all these articles and I read books and I hear interesting things from other people, and then if I don't write it down, if I don't just capture it in some fashion, then it really will just kind of get erased. It'll be rewritten. Like those CDs back in the day, and I won't remember it. And so I want to be better about capturing those things that I'm learning and finding interesting. I started creating this color coding system, which is probably too I got a little too overzealous, um, but I will want to try and capture some things. I'm hoping that this also helps with the 10,000 tabs that I have open on my laptop and even in my phone. I find something, I was like, oh, that's incredible. Um, and instead of just closing the tab out, like I want to capture it so that then I can just move on with my life. Maybe shut off my laptop every once in a while, without fearing that it's just going to be gone forever. So this will be my, digital bookmark tabs. So this is my commonplace book. Obviously, I'm not going to be updating it all the time, but it is a notebook that is in my system. Next, we have these two books. Also will be used as needed. You've already seen this one. This is my fountain pen ink swatch book. I will swatch some new ink and then write down the pen that has been inked with that. And again, this won't be, used every day, but it is a resource that I like to have on hand. And this one is for washi tapes. So this is this is a Hobonichi A6 plain notebook, and this is an Archer and Olive. Um, what size is this? Is this A6? I don't know. But this is where I keep swatches of all of the washi tapes that I own. And so I'll keep updating this whenever I get new designs from orders or from friends. So again, not something that I will be tapping into all the time, but it is part of my collection. I also have this notebook, and it's a 2024 Hobonichi Hon, that then I was using in 2025 only up until the first, let's see, I think maybe only the first month. And then did I tap in at some point? Yeah, I really only used it for the first like few weeks of the year. And the goal behind this planner, and I redated it for 2025 and all of that, but I didn't really use the monthly, so I don't really care. I was using this as a gratitude journal, because it's the Japanese book. I don't know what day of the week it says there. I just see that it's January 1st and then January 2nd. So I was just using it to just write something that I was grateful for each day, and putting in stickers and pictures, just as a way, like this was like a little playground. Even if I didn't want to put, these stickers in my main planner, I still wanted to use them because I own them and have them. So I might give this another try. I'm not really going to pressure myself too much. The paper was pretty good to me. And I just have some a photo file, a little photo album, again, to hold stickers. And these are a lot of vinyls that are, about self-care and empowerment and just like pick me ups. So this one has just been staring me in the face um, all year. And let's see if I check in with this over the course of 2026. If not, it's still really good paper. I do want to use it for something, especially since I've already put in all these cute stickers, from every minute of story. So this was supposed to be my gratitude journal, but it remains to be seen if it'll continue to be such in the new year. And speaking of notebooks and planners and journals that have been making me feel so bad for years, um, would have to be my Hobonichi 5-year journal. I got this, let's see, at the beginning of 2022, because I was turning 40 that January. I wanted to capture the next, it's supposed to be for 5 years, but I had it in mind to use it for 10 years. I'll show you the layout in case you're not aware. Um, and it's supposed to be an entry a day for the entire year for 5 years. And I currently have it in this little cover that my friend had made for a previous planner. I thought that maybe putting it in a pretty cover would make it more likely that I would pop in here. Because let me see, I'm gonna take it out of the cover just so that you can see what the actual book looks like. So it looks like this, which is, very Bible vibes. And I can't say it's really my vibe. It's not cute. So I figured, well, maybe if I put it in something cute, I'd want to come back into it. Then I thought, well, maybe if I put stickers on it, it'll make me want to come back into it. Um, no, the answer is no. I have not, it's supposed to be the last year. Guess how much of it I have actually written in? Yeah, I'll go in and, you know, I tried, guys. I tried, and I would love to be able to read back on all of those years past and see how, what was I doing on, January 31st in 2022. And the thing is, I have all, if not most of this information in my actual planners and journals. And I keep telling myself that, okay, well, when I'm journaling in, April 2022 of the current year, I'll just flip through my other journals and just quickly write down what I was doing on this day and just do it day by day. Um, at the beginning of every year, I'll go through like a whole sprint of banging out a bunch of days. Um, and then that doesn't last. Then I fall off. I don't make this a habit of going in at the end of my day to write down what happened. Um, I asked myself, should I have gone for the A6 instead of the A5? But because I'm just so committed to the A5 size, I went with the larger one. But it's so much space. Um, I I also keep wanting to put in um, the weather, and so that also takes time because I have to look up, the weather history for 2023. This is also the old Tomoe River paper, uh, which is also another reason why I wanted to get it before the paper changed. But the idea was that I'll write, all 5 years here and then continue the line and do 2027, 2028, 29, 30, 31, or what have you. So have my entire 40s in one book. And it's not that I don't have my life chronicled, the past several years chronicled in a book. I just wanted it all consolidated. And from time to time, I'm like, wow, can I just like hire someone off of like Fiverr or Indeed or Idealist or to just go through all of my books and just write it out for me? But obviously, I can't because some of it is very sensitive information. But that's my Hobonichi 5-year journal. Um, and let's see, I'm recommitting. I'm recommitting for 2026 so that I can fall right on my face if it doesn't happen. So we'll see. Stay tuned. It is on my goals list for the new year. And last but not least is a reading journal. I started a reading journal at the beginning of 2024. Yeah, 2024, I started setting one up in a B5 Archer Olive planner or notebook. And so last night I decided to just abandon that because I didn't get far at all. I set up the pages and then printed out some notebook covers and then wrote nothing. Um, I think I was just intimidated because B5 is pretty big. So instead, I whipped out this Sterling ink notebook that I just had in my stash and set it up for a planner. This is an A5 with the gilded edges. Um, and I'm going to do a more thorough flip through of how I set this up. But it's, brand spanking new, and I'm still have to finish out some pages. But this is where I'm going to keep track of the books that I am reading, as well as how I'm rating them, um, like recommendations, how many books I'm reading in a year. So I will do a more thorough, deep dive on how I have set this up really soon. I just have to finish it up, but this will be something that I want to keep on hand and be more mindful of for 2026, because I want to, increase the amount of books I read in a year. Um, I'm realizing that with work and life and doom scrolling and the news, it's just, I have not been reading as much as I used to. And when I do read, it's just such a nice escape from what's happening in the world. Not that I am completely tapping out, but just for my own mental health, I need to step away from current events and reading news articles and just escape for a little bit. So this is my reading journal. I still have to kind of decorate, put something here on the cover. But that should be the last piece to my planner lineup. Let me look around. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that is it. I know that it seems like there's quite a few notebooks and journals, planners that are in my lineup, in my planner system. But like I said, not all of those things are going to be updated on the daily. Many of them are just, every couple of weeks, maybe once a month, but they are part of what's going to keep me steady as the year goes on. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to know what is in your lineup for 2026. If you didn't check out my Chronicle Planner setup video, please do. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you use any of these notebooks or planners? Do you have a different system going for you? Are you kind of changing things up for the new year or sticking with tried and true? Most of these are notebooks that I've been using for the past few years, either successfully or not. And then my actual planner is totally changing up. So stick around, because I will definitely show you how things progress over time. And, some of these might fall to the wayside again, but hopefully I'm successful this time around. So thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon. Bye.